Yep, hi all. It's February 2021, so I just want to show you the latest project, which is pretty much at the end of its life now, this one. So I wanted to do my own version of the Nike Auto Lace mags, and this is the unit here. Hence you can see the raised laces versus the normal elastic laces on this one. So yeah, bit of background. In the Back to the Future film, Marty McFly has a pair of these shoes, and in the shoes in the film, so he puts his foot into the shoes, and then the laces here and the strap auto tightens. Now on the actual film itself is actually like two men pulling pieces of wire down here, which pulled it so and snapped it shut so quickly. There was no electronic mechanism involved, according to all the videos on the internet. So I think it was about 5 years ago, Nike actually released a version of the auto lacing mag, and they tend to be about 10,000, I think, for a regular version, and something like 25,000 for the auto lacing version. That's what I think they were anyway. Apologies if that's incorrect, but either way, it's a shit ton of money basically. You can buy a replica set, which are kind of similar to this shoe here, which costs £1,050 in the UK, which does have an autolacer mechanism that you can wear. I don't know how good it is. I don't know how reliable it is if you can wear it around very often, even if you want to wear it around very often, because of the high price of it. And clearly most people won't be able to afford over £1,000, but no doubt they are amazing, no doubt. But yeah, I want to do my own version, obviously a lot cheaper. So these shoes here, they look pretty decent, I'd say. These are the cheap Chinese replica mag shoes that come into the UK for basically 50 quid delivered for the initial pair, and then you add the upgrades. So these have obviously all been upgraded. So you upgrade the standard lights to the EL lights. These come from Retro Trash UK on Etsy. I retain the original LEDs underneath here, but I then fit the Nike, the Air Mag King from Instagram. I buy his rear heel cups, and then I take the bubble off it, and then I cut the letters off his cup and glue them on, because there's no wording or no symbols on the cheap ones, because of course they're completely illegal if they had all the Nike stuff on. His bubbles are much better because they're much fatter, they stick out more, all that sort of stuff, whereas the ones that come with the shoe are very flat and clear. But I do retain the LEDs. But the reason I retain the LEDs is, whilst they look very, very bright here, they're really bright in daylight. So yes, they're not movie accurate in terms of the actual brightness of them. They should be dimmer, but in daylight they look way better and you can see them, whereas the EL ones, you can't hardly see them really. So now I can take that at a car show and people can see and actually see them. Obviously at night time doesn't matter. So that's those there. I then buy the Nike panels here from EL Wirecraft in UK, plus the inverters and the 2 or the 3-to-1 pieces of wire. It's all pretty cheap, and obviously you have to cut a hole out, mount the wire through. So you need various glues, scalpels, long nose pliers, tweezers, sharp knives, all that sort of stuff in order to do the conversion. But ultimately, if you have some form of skill, you can convert these mags. Worst job really is to heat up this piece here with the heat gun, in order to peel it off gently without damaging anything, in order to insert the EL moon panels here. Otherwise, and you can cut these out of a bit of vinyl yourself and stick them on, etc., etc. Anyway, we come back to this version here, which is my version of auto lace. Now I say auto lace, on the Nike one, you put your foot in it, there's a pressure sensor, there's a Raspberry Pi computer system in there that controls it, sees how heavy you are, or whatever your mass is, and then tightens it up. Mine don't do that. The plan was obviously to do it cheap, clearly, so it cost me £30 to get enough stuff to do 2 shoes, but as I'm pretty much calling this project here, I've just done enough to convert 1 shoe. So this shoe here, I can wear this shoe here. All I've done is I've removed the original elastic laces and put in these ones here so it matches. This one here, I can't wear this shoe. When I built the mechanism to get it to work, I realised the mechanism was just too big to fit underneath here. And also it just wouldn't have been reliable trying to get the laces to work past my shoe and trying to walk on it and all that sort of stuff. It just wasn't going to work. So what it is, I mounted the mechanism onto a piece of 1 centimetre thick rubber, which is the same shape as the insole. So what I can do is I can detach the laces from the mechanism by just pulling out a little pin on each one, and then pull the laces out of the way, and then pull the whole mechanism out of the shoe. And then if I wanted to use these shoes, I then have to either glue those back down or secure them somehow, but either way do something that so the laces were flat, and then I can wear that shoe as it is, like that on there. I'd leave the side mechanism in here. So yeah, let's have a look at this then. But in the day, the plan was for this year was to have a pair of shoes. When I go to a classic car show, pull up in the DeLorean, I can let people touch the shoes, feel the shoes, etc. And if someone says, does it auto lace, which the people always ask that question, I can be like, yes, it does. And whilst I can say this does not fully auto lace, because you can't put your foot in it, it's manual, it does lace, and it's the best job I could do, really. I'm going to persevere a little bit more, but not too much. So yeah, so if you see here, got a little switch inside here, tightens it, cool. So it tightens it really nicely, but it's the releasing part it doesn't like so much. So you can see it actually binds a little bit, so it tightens it up well, and then it's releasing. It binds a little bit. This one here is the worst one, because you can see here that this one here, once it's down, it kind of stays down. So what I am going to do is I am going to spend another couple of hours on it one evening, take the laces off again, have another look at the mechanism and see if maybe about shortening this lace here. So all I find is it just doesn't come up again because of the angle of it down here. I don't think it's because there's any I think because it goes through the hole smooth. I think it's just the angle of the motor, because obviously I designed it so I could wear it, rather than now it's a static model. So you know what, it works. It kind of works. It's better than not having it. So you do this to tighten up. That goes well. Oops, actually, I should say that's got caught on the power supply. Cool. Just grab that wire. A second. There we go. Loosens. Tightens. So yeah. So you can see that it does do something. It's just that's that one lace. So it does do something. And yeah, I'm not saying that's an amazing job at all, but I'd be quite happy once I get that lace sorted. I'd be quite happy to take that, put that in my car, and just demonstrate it to people, just for a bit of a laugh. Really, that's all. And there we go. I'll quickly show you the mechanism. So you can see in there, let me grab hold of the switch. So I haven't bothered hiding the switch or gluing the switch in, or making any particular effort on the switch, which is just here, because there's no point mounting it anywhere particularly. I mean, I'll probably could put a bit of something in there just so it stays at the top, but there's no point cutting any holes out or doing anything further than that, But you can see here the mechanism. So you loosen it, does that, and then you can tighten it, and it wraps it around. That's kind of how it works. See, and that's where you can see there's a bit of lag, because of course the silicone obviously is not that, it's not super firm. Maybe if that was firmer, it wouldn't sort of bind, it wouldn't bind potentially around there, Let me just do it again. Tighten it. So I mean, you can tighten it up really well, but I don't have to over tighten it. But okay, so it does do something. Once the lace here is sorted, it's quite cool. So these motors here actually run off anything from 1.5 volts upwards. So I tried this on 1.5 volts and it was fine, but obviously it's half the speed. So 3 volts I think works perfect. Anything faster than 3 volts, it would just go up and down so quickly. I think the motor would be far too fast for the lace to rebound, a bit like what it does now. But yeah, it's cool. But the main thing is, I can easily take the mechanism out and wear the shoe if I want to. But why would I? I've got another pair there, so it's all good. and I think that looks cool. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. Apart from that, which I'll work on, I'll persevere on that bit and that bit. I'm not going to bother converting that shoe there because there's not much point, you know. One shoe's enough, sort of thing. But yeah, there you go. So yeah, I definitely recommend these shoes from say AliExpress for the shoes. And like I said to you, Nike, so Air Mag King from Instagram, and then you've got Retro Trash from Etsy, and then you've got EL or Wirecraft UK for the panel here, plus electronics. And there we go. Nice one. Hope this is of some interest to people anyway. Cool. And one final one on here. We'll grab the switch. Let's do that. There we go. It looks cool there, you know. Nice one. Cheers. Thank you. Oh yeah, so part 2 of the video. So I've actually decided to slightly persevere on the shoe from what I said at the end of the last video. So what I'm going to do on this one is, I actually looked inside this a minute ago and I realised I can actually move my motor mechanism a bit. So I've kind of got about a centimetre of spare room. So what I'm going to do is, at the moment the mechanism is about here. I'm going to move the mechanism a bit more over this direction. So I have designed it to be able to move the motor mechanism as a complete unit. So I'll move it over a little bit and see if that helps when it's lined up with more directly underneath the laces. If that helps push these laces up that bit smoother, which I think it might do if there's enough clearance around this section here for the motor, because the motor's about 1.5 inches big here. So yeah, I'm going to persevere with it a little bit more, and then probably call that an end to that project, I reckon, and then maybe get saving up, you know, for a pair of autolaces in the future. The thing is, when you spend £1,000, you know, odd pounds on a pair, you know, you've got to be pretty loaded. Or would you actually wear them? I mean, would you put that pair of autolacing shoes on and wear them anywhere? They'd probably just end up being items shoved in your wardrobe that you bring out, you know, when your mate comes round, you know, and you're sort of sat down having a beer or something, you bring out the autolace shoes, shirt, him back in the wardrobe. At least with these sorts of shoes here, they cost you £100. It's still reasonable money, but you can just wear them. You know, if they scuff and mark, who cares? You know, just wear them. It's a lot of money, yeah, but it's not that much money, if you know what I mean, for a pair of quality shoes. There we go. So yes, I shall persevere. So you might see an additional video once I line up that motor better. If it's still the same, then you won't be seeing another video. Cool. There we go. Nice one. Let me just have one last tighten down for old time's sake. Cool. Look at that. Beautiful. Thank you. Cheers. Yeah, so here's the mechanism. So obviously I've got some test laces put in place. I've got the 2 motors with gearboxes on. 1.5 volts power supply. I have got a 3 volt power supply, but this is a 1.5 volt power supply. This particular switch here I've got at the moment. Obviously I'm going to try other switches. If it works, obviously I'll then try other switches and get a switch, you know, mounted in here. But for now we'll just try this mini switch here. So yeah, switch it on there. This is actually a hold to run. Obviously it'll wrap up really nicely. Obviously it'll go all the way around and wrap it all up. But you know, that's kind of the gist of it, you know. And obviously it won't unravel in this stage because of course it's hitting this, but when it's up the tube, obviously you'll only need to open and close it, you know, an inch potentially, I guess, that sort of thing. And obviously it should wrap tighter around this. We'll just see. We'll just play it by ear now, let it go, sort of thing. Cool. Right, I'm gonna try and install it now, and then just see if it lines up and just see if it actually works. Cool. Nice one. And let's say there it is. I'm going to say this is a momentary switch, so it's a hold to run switch, which obviously is what you want. Cool, there you go, nice mechanism. Cheers.